now is Nicole Mion. She's the Artistic Director for Children in Dance. Welcome, Nicole. What exactly is the Artistic Director's job, and what do you do?
Artistic directors choose the direction for the company or guide the company. So for this organization, it's written in our mandate that it's very important that kids be involved in the creative process. So when they create pieces, a choreographer comes in with an idea, and the kids come in, and together they create the dances that you see this evening. And so it's my responsibility to pick what dances we're going to do, what kind of topics we're going to deal with, pick choreographers to be involved, pick the kids, and just make sure that everything's running smoothly.
So you actually ask the kids for ideas for the show, like they help choreograph the scenes that they're doing?
Mm-hmm. I think kids have a lot to say and have a lot of good ideas. And often in society, I don't think that we ask kids what they think of something or what they think would work well in a certain situation. And that's what we try and do. So you set up situations from which you can use their ideas within the choreography. And then also the choreographers are involved in choreographing it too. And together you find this kind of happy medium where the two are kind of interlocking.
Can you tell us a little bit about the show that you're doing now? It's called Munsch Moves.
Munsch Moves. We're using 3 stories by Robert Munsch and 1 story by Thomas Mowat. And 3 stories by Robert Munsch are Promise is a Promise, The Dark, and Millicent and the Wind. And Thomas Mowat, who wrote a story for a dance company in Colorado, which has been reworked here with our company members, is doing a piece called Stargazer.
Were you ever a dancer? You're the artistic director, so you must have to know something about dance. So were you ever a dancer yourself?
Mm-hmm. I still dance. I choreograph, and I perform, and I teach in town. And my background is I dance, and I did a lot of sports, and I did a lot of theater. And from university on, I've just continued going and doing things and creating and performing.
Say I was just a kid watching this show at home and I wanted to get involved with Children in Dance. How would I get involved? Is there a telephone number I could call or an address I could write to get more information?
At the end of this program, our address and phone number are listed. We're always looking for eager participants, so certainly they could give us a phone call. And we have our auditions in the spring, and we rehearse all fall.
Is Erin, and she is part of the Dark in Children in Dance's production Munsch Moves. So Erin, could you tell us a little bit about what you do exactly in the Dark?
Well, I'm Jillian, and I'm going in the morning to get a cookie from the cookie jar, and out pops the Dark, which eats shadows, and my dad and I try and catch the Dark, and throughout the dance there are various dances trying to catch the Dark, and when he's going through the streets and stuff. And then at the very end, I catch him, and he gets thrown out at the dump.
How long have you been dancing?
I've been dancing for 7 years.
And how did you find out about Children in Dance?
Well, I had a friend who was in it, and she really liked it, and so the next year I came and joined her.
What do you like best about being in Children in Dance?
Well, it's not like ballet or anything when you're in a class of dance. You get to help choreograph it, and it's different than jazz and ballet. You get to express your feelings more in modern dance, and it's a lot of fun.
One morning, Julian came thump, thump, thump down the stairs and danced happily into the kitchen. cookie jar on the table. She turned it upside down, but nothing came out. She pounded on the bottom, but still nothing came out. She held it up and looked in. A small dark thing fell out, bounced on her nose, and bounced across the table. Julian said, "What's that?" Her mother said, "What's that?" The small dark ate Julian's shadow and got a little bigger. It ate her mother's shadow and got a little bigger. It ate the toaster's shadow and got even bigger. "I think it's a dark," said Julian. By this time, the dark was as big as the toaster. Julian's father came in and said, "Hey, what's that?" Julian said, "It's a dark. It eats shadows." Julian's father caught it, picked it up, and threw it out the window. The dark landed and bounced down the street. It saw lots of car shadows. And it ate them up. It saw lots of telephone pole shadows. And it ate them up. Lots of house shadows. And it ate them up. It saw lots of grass shadows. It ate them up. It even saw lots of butterfly shadows. And it ate them up. The dark was now as big as a hill. It came back to Julian's house and sat on the roof. And then it went to sleep. The whole yard was so dark that Julian could not go out and play. Julian's mother and father said, "What's this?" Well, they ran out to chase away the dark. It was so black outside that they got lost. They could not even find the door to come back in. Julian was very upset. Then she saw that the dark had not eaten her chair's shadow. She broke off a piece and held it out the window. The dark came right down the side of the house and chomped that shadow up. Then Julian broke up the rest of the shadow into little pieces and put them into the cookie jar. Well, right away the dark flew through the window and jumped into the jar to eat the shadow. the dark was inside the jar, Julan put on the top. She taped it with tape. She glued it with glue. She plastered it with plaster. And she roped it with rope. All her friends helped her carry it to the garbage can, and they dumped it inside. Her mother and father called the garbage truck, and the truck came and took the dark away. It never came back. Shadows took a whole week to grow again.
With me now is Michelle, and she's the stargazer in Children in Dance's production. Michelle, what exactly is the stargazer? What part do you play?
Well, the stargazer is, well, the hero in the story. She saves the princess from who gets caught in a box from, who gets turned into a shadow from the queen.
How long have you been in dance?
Well, I've been taking ballet for about 6 or 7 years.
Do you plan to be a ballet dancer when you grow up? Maybe be in Swan Lake or the Nutcracker or something like that?
I don't know. I've been in the Nutcracker before, but I don't know if I'm going to do it as a career.
What do you like about being in Children in Dance? Is it all the kids, or because you get to perform before a live audience?
Well, I like performing, and it's a lot of fun.
Why did you choose to be in Children in Dance? Just decide to do it on a whim, or did your mom find out about it and say, oh, I think this would be a good thing for you to do, Michelle?
Well, my friends told me it was a lot of fun, and they'd been in it before, so I decided to try it out.
Once upon a time and far away, a planet slowly circled round in space. I lived there as a young stargazer then, and there it was the tale I tell took place. There was a wicked queen, a princess fair, a rainbow fairy, and a girl who dared to dream a dream that could turn the dark to light, and by believing set a wrong to right. To journey there at the speed of light would take 1,000 days and nights. But we can jump through time and space as easily as we rest in bed. Just close your eyes and think good thoughts. Now think time jump and look ahead. Her dearest companion, a wizened old gnome.
I've done it. I've done it. Come look at me, you silly dwarf. I've lost 10 pounds. Come, tell me I'm fairest, most beautiful around. You are, my dearest. In all your far-flung kingdom, they are not to compare.
Though there might be one or two who could, they'd be insane to dare.
How dare you say my kingdom? My queendom, knave, I'm queen. Or perhaps you'd like a longer nose, your teeth all twisted green. Oh, please forgive your majesty. Your queendom is divine. That's better, knave. As a king you raved, as my slave you do just fine. That all my subjects may see me and long. Can such beauty be? Announce the royal ball!
The mirror holds her in her spell. She is possessed by what she sees. Nothing else can touch her heart. She softly whispers, me, me, me. Invitations make their rounds. Who could refuse a royal ball? That night the air is full of sounds as nobles file into the hall. Most everyone who's anyone has parked their carriage near a gate and paused to watch the setting sun, but not for long, lest they be late. A tedious time until the princess is announced. And as she steps into the hall, the truth of beauty speaks to all. The queen, forgotten in the press to ask the princess for a dance, descends her throne in disbelief and soon begins to rant. She flies into a monstrous rage. She stamps her foot. She tears her hair. She treats her guests with no respect that anyone should dare.
Begone, disgusting scum! I want you out now, everyone!
The party ends not quite begun.
How dare she? They must all be mad! How could those fools all be so blind? I'll teach that rotten little brat. I know the very spell to find. She likes to dance, and dares to be compared to such a one as me. Well, let her dance then. Locked up tight in shadow, never seen in light. When next we hold the royal ball, there'll be no princess here at all. Now, let me see. What do I need to make this spell set well? Eye of newt and serpent's tongue, hair of dog and dragon's lung, one squished slug, and one dried frog. Fungus from a molten lung. I fled before that horrid fairy queen. But now you serve me, wisp of green. No witch, no mage, no fairy queen can set my little darling free. What other do I need to fear? Oh, what? It cannot be! I need some stars, but I have none! Without stardust, I am undone! A strong stargazer might unbind the spell I set upon her mind. No! Slave, scamp, harlot, come to me! I need some stars, I need them now! Don't stand there looking impudent! And do you dare forget the now? I love the castle's highest. I need some stars, I need them now! What, your majesty?
I tell, but in a land where fairies dwell, where magic is as real as day or night, and like them can be either dark or light, there lived a girl on a mountain high, and she gazed at stars in the clear night sky. Stargazer was the young girl's name, and thoughtful were her seeking eyes, weaving dreams of what might be into a good reality, was the art she studied ceaselessly under the clear night skies. For she was an apprentice still, not a full stargazer fully fledged, and though she thought of great ideas and weaved well nets of what might be, one lesson yet the stars withheld, she must still learn how to believe. To think great thoughts and dream good dreams, that is the easy part indeed. But harder far is true belief, which makes a dream reality. tiny shape is seen, and closer now and larger comes on the fairy queen. Above forbidding mountains and forest emerald green, across a deep blue ocean to the princess and the queen. While Stargazer travels on her rainbow through the night, perhaps it would be fitting, I think the moment's right, when we should time travel forwards to the palace and see the queen, in all her wicked glory, greet the day as always mean.
My little darling is locked up, the merest wisp of shadow stuff. And I must see she always stays trapped in her prison till she fades. Come here, you wretched little cow. I'm off to have a facial now. Take this key and guard it well. It keeps the shadow in her cell. Don't lose it. I'm warning you, I'll mush you into a pile of goo.
Returning was annoyed to find the gnome was sleeping so. For on the young Stargazer's cape, she saw the mark which let her know that her worst fears were coming true. One who might banish her was here. She saw the stars upon her cape and felt a stab of fear.
I have known right from the start that you are an apprentice still. The stars upon your cape said so. You are not fully fledged until stars cover you from head to toe. Now, let me see. What magic spell would suit my purposes most well? Perhaps a crow? How about a bear? The one can fly, the other fight. A weasel, that is just the thing. Apprentice, you need humbling.
Self-confidence will win or lose the game. Stargazer has the strength to win, but so far has not used it well. The Rainbow Fairy cannot help, nor can she break the witch's spell. One final thought before we go, to help Stargazer on her quest. Evil is never as strong as good. Believing in your dreams is best.
Oh, won't you help me find the stars? The stars that set my dream free. Reach deep into your closet, star. Focus for a star may hide. And as you reach, try to see in darkness you can see. And help me others to be free. Have you found the stars? Show them to me. Well, thank you.
light the night in stars. And though she does not know, she is a full stargazer now. Stars cover her from head to toe. Stronger far than sword of steel is the belief in dreams made real. In a flash, stargazer knows the mirror which controls her foe, provides the magic of the queen, and gives life to her evil scheme. A dreamer now, stargazer knows, success is more than vanquished foes. And so she gathers up her team. Together they weave one last dream. A happy, thoughtful, radiant queen. A gnome set free to dance and sing. Thus peace and harmony they bring. Belief has triumphed once again. Everything has turned out right. Now our tale is at an end. And so we say, good night.
With me now is Allison, and she plays Millicent in Children in Dance's newest production, Munsch Moves. Hi, Allison.
Hi.
How long have you been dancing? Have you been dancing for a long, long time?
I'm 3 years, I guess, now.
And you play Millicent. How did you get the part? Did you, first of all, you auditioned for Children in Dance, and then did they decide that, well, you look like a Millicent, so I think you'll be Millicent, or how did they decide?
Well, what they did was, actually, I was picked on the basis of my turnout. In ballet, I have the most ballet training in this part, and they figured that Millicent was a fairly balletic character, so that's how I got picked.
What do you like best about being in Children in Dance?
I think I like mostly the chance to perform and the chance to be able to choreograph part of your own dance, and you feel like you have a greater part in the performances in whole.
How did you find out about Children in Dance?
I found out through a friend who was in it 2 years ago.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
One morning, when all the world was quiet, Millicent stood on her mountaintop and looked at the world. She saw trees and rocks and sunshine and clouds, but no other children. Far away in the valley was where the other children lived. It took 3 whole days just to walk there. Millicent had no friends. On this morning, someone whispered very softly, "Hey, Millicent." Millicent looked all around, but all that she saw were trees and rocks and sunshine and clouds. Then someone whispered louder, "Hey, Millicent." This time Millicent said, "There is nothing I see except trees and rocks and sunshine and clouds, and they cannot talk. Who are you?" "Millicent," whispered the voice, "I am the wind." "Oh no," said Millicent. "The wind howls and roars and whistles and rustles. It doesn't talk." Then the wind blew Millicent's dress around her legs. It very softly touched her face and hair and said, "I am the very wind of all the world. I blow when I wish and talk when I want to. The day is so quiet and the sun shines so yellow that I feel like talking right now." "Well," said Millicent, "I have no friends and lots of time. Can you play tag?" "Certainly," said the wind. So they played tag, running among the trees and the rocks and the sunshine. "Come back tomorrow," said Millicent, and the wind did come back every day. There came a time when Millicent was not there. She and her mother had gone down over the rocks and into the deep forest. They were walking all the way to the valley to buy the things they needed. So the wind could not play tag that day. It blew all over the world looking for Millicent, but Millicent was walking far at the bottom of a forest, and the wind could not find her. Millicent and her mother walked for 3 days and finally came to the valley where people lived. When they walked through the valley, all the children came out of their houses and looked at Millicent. One boy with red hair said to Millicent, "Who are you, and where do you come from?" She said, "My name is Millicent. I live on a mountaintop. I have no friends except the wind." And the red-haired boy said, "The wind is nobody's friend." And all the children started to yell, "Millicent, Millicent lives on a mountaintop. Go home, Millicent." Then a strange thing happened. A very large wind came and picked the red-haired boy right up into the sky and tumbled him around like a leaf until his clothes were all tatters and his hair was a mess. All the children ran away. Millicent and her mother went to town and bought the things they needed. But Millicent was sorry that the children had run away. It took them 3 whole days to walk back to the mountain. When they got there, Millicent looked at the trees and the rocks and the clouds and the sunshine and wished that she had somebody to play with besides the wind. "Wind," said Millicent, "you blow through the hair of every child everywhere in the world. Can you find me someone to play tag with?" "Boy or girl," said the wind. "Get me a friend," said Millicent. The wind turned into something huge and enormous that rumbled the rocks and bent the trees and whistled off far away until Millicent could not hear it anymore. But in a little while, it came back and it carried a boy. The wind put him down. Millicent looked at the boy. The boy looked at Millicent. "Let's play," said Millicent, and they did.
now is Jason, and he's a dancer for Children in Dance. How long have you been dancing? Was it something that you decided to do when you were really little?
No, I don't think so. I started dancing about 3 years ago and just like it.
How did you find out about Children in Dance? Was it through your parents, or did a friend tell you about it?
Well, I go to the same school with one of the boys in my piece, and he was in this last year, and he just told me about it. And got interested.
Since you're a boy, do your friends ever tease you about being a dancer, or do you find that that's no big deal?
It's no big deal.
What do you like about being in Children in Dance? Is it all the kids, or is it just a lot of fun?
It's a lot of fun.
On the very first day of spring, Elashua said, I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to go fishing in the ocean. I'm going to go fishing in the cracks in the ice. Aha, said her mother. Don't go fishing on the sea ice. Under the sea live caterpillars. They grab children who aren't with their parents. Don't go fishing in the ocean. Go fish in a lake. Right, said Elashua. I promise to go fishing in the lake and not in the ocean, and a promise is a promise. So Elashua set out like she was going to go to the lake near her house. But when she got to the end of the street, she didn't go to the lake. She walked down the long snowy path that led to the ocean. At the edge of the ocean were large cracks where the tide broke and jumbled the ice. Alashua looked very carefully and did not see any Calipilluit. She said, "On TV, I have seen Santa Claus, fairy godmothers, and the Tooth Fairy, but never any Calipilluit. I think my mother is wrong." But just in case her mother was right, Alashua stood beside the sea ice and yelled, "Calipilluit have dirty noses!" Nothing happened. Alashua yelled, "Calipilluit smell like dead whale in the summer!" Nothing happened. Alashua walked right out into the sea ice and yelled as loud as she could, "Calipilluit, Calipilluit can't catch me!" Nothing happened. The only thing Alashua heard was the sound of snow blowing over the ice. So Alashua got out her line and her hook. She walked over to a large crack in the ice and started to fish. Alashua caught 4 fish in a row. Alashua yelled, "I am the best fisherman in the world!" From behind her, something said with a voice that sounded like snow blowing over the ice, "The best you may be, but the smartest you are not." Oh, no, Calipilloet. I have seen no such child, and besides, your noses are very pretty.
Have you seen the child who said we smell like a dead whale in the summertime?
Oh, no, Calipilloet. I have seen no such child, and besides, you smell very nice, just like flowers in the summer.
Have you seen the child who yelled, Calipilloet, Calipilloet can't catch me?
Oh, no, Calipilloet. I have seen no such child, and besides, my mother says that you can catch whatever you want to.
Right,
said the Calipilloet.
We catch whatever we want to, and what we want to catch right now is you.
Calipilloet grabbed Elashua and dragged her down, down, down under the sea ice to where the Calipilloet lived. Elashua held her breath, and the Calipilloet gathered around her and sang with voices that sounded like snow blowing over the ice.
Human child, ours to have, ours to hold. Forget your mother, forget your brother, ours to hold under the ice.
Elashua let out her breath and yelled, my brothers and sisters, I'll bring them all to the sea ice. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the Calipilloet threw Elashua up out of the sea into the cold wind of the ice and said,
a promise is a promise. Bring your brothers and sisters to the sea ice, and we will let you go.
Elashua began to run up the long, snow-covered path that led to her home. As she ran, her clothes started to freeze. She ran more and more slowly. Until she fell to the ground. And that is where her family found her, frozen to the snow. Her family gave a great yell and picked up Elashua and carried her inside. Her family hugged her and hugged her and hugged her until she got warm. I went to the cracks in the sea ice. Aha, said her family, not so smart. I called the Calipilloet nasty names. Aha, said her family, dumber still. I promised to take my brothers and sisters to the cracks in the sea ice. I promised to take them all to the Calipilloet. Aha, said her family, a promise is a promise. The family didn't say anything for a long time. The mother looked at her family and said, "I have an idea." Elashua's mother yelled, "Kalapilowitz, Kalapilowitz, come and talk with me." And they did come, right out of the cracks in the sea ice, up the long snow-covered path from the sea. It was a most strange thing, for never before had the Kalapilowit left the ocean. The mother cried and yelled and asked for her children back. But the Kalapilowit said,
"A promise is a promise."
The father cried and yelled and asked for his children back. But the Kalapilowit said,
"A promise is a promise."
The family begged and pleaded and asked for their family back. But the Kalapilowit said,
"A promise is a promise."
Finally, Elashua's mother said, "Kalapilowit, you have hearts of ice, but a promise is a promise. We must say goodbye to each other." The family had started to dance. They said to the Kalapilowit, "This is not for you." The Kalapilowit said,
"We have never danced. We want to dance."
and they all started to dance. First, they danced slowly. And then they danced fast. And then they started to jump and yell and scream and dance a wild dance. The Kalapilowit liked the dancing so much that they forgot about the children. While the Kalapilowit were busy dancing, the family snuck away and ran down the long, snowy path that led to the sea. They came to the cracks in the sea ice, and Elashua whispered, "Kalapilowit, Kalapilowit, here we are." Nothing happened. Then the family said, "Kalapilowit, Kalapilowit, here we are." Nothing happened. Then the family yelled, as loud as they could, "Kalapilowit, Kalapilowit, here we are!" Nothing happened. and they all went back to the land and sat on a large rock by the beach. 2 minutes later, the caterpillar ran screaming down the path and jumped into their cracks in the ice. Alashua stood up on the rock and said, "A promise is what you were given, and a promise is what you got. I brought my brothers and sisters to the sea ice, but you were not here. A promise is a promise." The caterpillar yelled and screamed and pounded the ice till it broke. They begged and pleaded and asked to have the children. But Alashua said, "A promise is a promise." Then the caterpillar jumped down to the bottom of the sea and took their cracks with them, and the whole ocean of ice became perfectly smooth. The father looked at the flat ocean and said, "We will go fishing here, for caterpillar have promised never to catch children with their parents, and a promise is a promise." Then they all did go fishing, quite happily.
Human child, ours to have, ours to hold. Forget your mother, forget your brother, ours to hold under the ice.
Dance, well, when you dance, you can use your body and create things with yourself. It's a time when you get to, like, release everything that's inside of you that you have to keep in all day and stuff.
It's fun making up dances.
You think about all the steps, you know, and you really use your imagination and create a way for the steps to mix, and you work at it a lot, and pretty soon you have a really neat dance.
They're an animal. You think about how that animal moves, and you try and concentrate on being that animal. Like,
if your legs are tired, they sort of like wake them up. I just like the faster movements.
Dance is a bunch of movements, and they can be flowing or choppy.
you try and keep in line with all the other people.
Doing lots of moves, keeping in rhythm. I just like the faster movement. You can stretch your body and everything. Like you don't do push-ups in dancing.
You can jump really fast. If you're sad, you can do it slow, and you use your arms a lot to make forms.
Well, like jumping around and dancing.
I like doing that.
It's just fun. I like running and jumping.
If you're really angry or something, you can do fast movement and quick things.
I like really, really fast music. That's why I started.
A really funky dance, then you be, wild, and you just make your steps really huge and bouncy.
If I didn't do dancing, I wouldn't have nothing to do. When you're dancing with your costume. Well, it might be too tight because I didn't make it the right size.
That was my first dance on stage.
I went too fast on stage and I almost tripped.
I couldn't get through, so I missed my cue, and I had to come out late. Everybody else was doing something else, and I had to sneak onto the stage. I stopped and did my tracks. I went the wrong way. And everyone else went the right way. I fell and I got dragged a bit, and then I got up and started doing it again. I just ignored it and just pretended it was part of the dance.
The worst part is being nervous.
I dance because I like getting scared in front of 5 million people.
Well, at first when I went out, I was scared.
Sometimes when I get nervous and I go on stage and I start dancing, the nervous goes away. Start dancing. My nervous goes away. Oh, I'm in dancing and it's fun, and why am I nervous? I like dressing up and stuff and dancing on, like, in front of people. Children and dance. You make up a dance and then you dance in front of an audience. It's a performance, costumes and the music and the stage, and you're performing a dance with your group and you're just having a lot of fun.
To go out there and have people respond to what you do.
Because other people get to see your dance and sometimes they want to do dancing. I like dancing in front of an audience because I feel like I'm the big hit of the dance, and I feel like everybody's watching me. Get to know your audience almost.
You're enjoying it and you're dancing a dance for the audience to enjoy.
Performing to me is like an ultimate high. It's really exciting going out on stage in front of all these people. They can't believe it because they don't know how hard you've worked to present this and how hard you've worked to make it really just perfect.
You feel free when you dance and you move. It's just a nice feeling. I enjoy it a lot.
Be proud of yourself.
It's just fun. I like to dance. I love it, basically.
It's fun and exciting.
Oh yeah, I want to do this now. I just love to dance.
Maybe they might think, oh, I don't like dancing, and maybe they come to the dance show and say, wow, that looks really much fun.
The worst part is when it's all over because you put all that work into it, and now after all the performances and the closing night, the last night, you feel kind of sad that it's all over and that you just can't wait till next year till you're in the next performance.